Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, and in this video, as you can tell from the intro, we're going to be taking a look at my N64 collection here, spanning my games, the few games that I have, the console, some controllers and peripherals and stuff that I have for it. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing in this video, and it's mainly because, well, first off, is I had a lot of fun with the Xbox 360 library that I recorded last year. It made me realize how many Xbox 360 games I had. This one's a lot smaller, so I was actually able to have some time and record some gameplay footage, which during all that, I found out very quickly that one of my controllers is not functioning 100%, which is why I don't have a lot of gameplay footage of it. But yeah, it's a thing. Old controllers acting up. Oh well. The other reason is because I've been wanting to get some other shorter videos out because I have not been able to record anything in the past few weeks. Just because of several things going on, from weather. We've had some severe storms. I've got some water in my basement, which didn't get in the game room or the computer room, but it's still any water down here is annoying. And I decided to take it upon myself to not only completely unconnect every one of my retro consoles to clean all the dust off the shelves, but I also decided, hey, I also want to reorganize them so it's more, I don't know, it flows better from when I'm just sitting trying to play games. I'm not have a console way behind me and a controller in front of me trying to do stuff. Which then also, while I was down here doing all that, this shelf that used to sit behind me that had all my collectible energy drinks and cups and some other knick-knacky stuff decided to spontaneously become Humpty Dumpty and just fall apart, resulting in some energy drink cans breaking open, spraying sugary confectionery liquid all over the place, and it needed to be cleaned, and it's been a headache. So anyway, like I said, I wanted to get some shorter videos out that I can get back into the swing of recording stuff on a weekly basis, because that was my goal this year, and obviously, anyway, let's just take a look at the N64 collection here and see what kind of neat stuff's here, because it's not a huge collection, but I got some neat games here and some neat stuff, so might as well take a look. Alright, so the first off is the console itself, the basic black generic N64 console. A little bit of a backstory with this. I mentioned before we had the PS1 in about '99. My mom's mom, my grandmother on my mom's side, had a N64 for the grandkids to play whenever we were up. And I have a lot of fond memories of playing this with my cousins and my sisters. Not as much as I do with the PS1, obviously, but yeah, I had a lot of fun playing with the PS1, especially some games that I actually still have in my collection here. That N64, it was long gone. All the games were long gone, long sold at a garage sale. So this is kind of I'm recreating the library from that, plus adding games to it. I'm missing a few games, but that's fine. But yeah, just the basic black N64 control deck here. This is basically the same color we had back then. I kind of wanted to see if I could track down or find maybe the transparent blue or the jungle green one, because that way it kind of breaks up some of my consoles, because so far all my consoles are either black, gray, or purple in the case of my GameCube. But yeah, I'm not too upset about it. I mean, if I come across maybe a junk one I can swap cases for, that might be a thing. But anyway, it's the basic one. I like it. It works. Next up is the controllers. I have the, again, basic N64 gray controller. I was actually using this to record some gameplay footage you're going to be seeing later, and I quickly found out that the center joystick here is not only very stiff, it's very inaccurate right now. This one, I think I need to refurbish it and get a new center joystick for it, but all the other buttons work just fine, and yeah, it's just the basic gray one that came with the N64. Next up, we have the ice purple N64 controller. This one, the joystick feels a lot better, a lot looser, but not in a bad loose way, just as it's a lot more easier to turn. I probably should have been using this one when I was recording, but oh well. Yeah, just basic, the ice transparent purple one. I love this era of technology where you can actually see the internal mechanisms of them, and you can kind of see how basic the PCB is. Really not going on a lot there. Speaking of jungle green, this is actually one of the reasons why I specifically mentioned wanting to possibly try and find an N64 that was in jungle green. That way I have a matching controller for it, because this one, same for the purple one, is a lot easier to move around. I don't know why that gray one's so stiff. I'll have to crack it open at some point and take a look when I refurbish it. But yeah, jungle green N64 controller. Yeah, this was actually a really neat color, because I don't think there's been a color this vibrant green that Nintendo's used since the N64 days, at least I don't think. So yeah, it's either one of those things you love or hate this controller. I don't mind it. There are some games I think it's kind of annoying that you have to switch from basically the D-pad, joystick, center button mode, or layout. But yeah, not too many games I think actually how you switch out like that. I truly can't think of any off the top of my head. Alright, now we also have the Rumble Pack, the actual Nintendo branded one for the N64 controllers, and it snaps on the bottom of the controller like so, adding some, even though there's no batteries in this, considerable heft to it. Yeah, shockingly, for all you young kids that are too young to remember this, controllers didn't always come with rumble. In fact, I am trying to think. I don't think the Saturn or the original, the very first version of the PS1 controller came with rumble. I think that came later when they added the analog joysticks. I think. I'll actually have to do some digging in that now that I said that. But anyway, yeah, the rumble pack to add rumble feature to a lot of games, which majority of games supported it for some haptic feedback. The only major downfall with this was if you wanted to save your game, you had to use an auxiliary memory card, which took up the slot of this. So in some cases, you couldn't use both at the same time. There was some third-party stuff that allowed you to use a rumble pack and a memory card, but most of the time you had to pick one or the other, or plug in a second controller and go that route. Use rumble pack on the player 1, and then player 2 had the memory cards. Speaking of memory cards, next up is the two N64 compatible game memory cards that I have. These are from Performance. They're not Nintendo branded ones. These work in the exact same way as the previous rumble pack. They snap into the bottom of the N64 controller to transfer save files and stuff from the cartridge to the memory card here itself. And as I say that, I actually don't know if the cartridges had memory to save games or not. I think some of them did. I actually don't remember. I've always just had a memory card on the other N64 and have them on this one, so I just don't remember if the game's saved on the cartridge or not. But anyway, yes, these were, again, for all you folks that are too young, once upon a time you had to use external memory cards. They didn't just save to the console or save to the cloud. You had to use physical memory cards. So if you ran out of space, you had to buy more. I do want to see if I can track down a actual Nintendo branded one. I think it'd be kind of just to have it off like an OEM one instead of a third-party one. These work just fine. Okay, now on to the games, which I am going to be putting some gameplay footage up over here somewhere of me playing some of the games. I didn't play too much of each game, mainly because, like I said earlier, this controller's joystick was acting up, and I couldn't get a whole lot of game footage without it doing some weird stuff. I didn't have the transparent ones dug out of storage. I didn't want to do that when I was originally recording the gameplay, but I have them dug out now, so, you know, it's a thing. Either way, the first one, Batman Beyond: Return of the Joker. So I was a huge fan of DC animated stuff during this time. The original Justice League Unlimited, Batman, Superman anime series. Batman: Return of the Joker. I loved the Batman Beyond series. It was kind of a neat, like, futuristic approach to the Batman mythos. And Return of the Joker was awesome because it brought back Mark Hamill as the Joker, which, if you've seen the movie of Return of the Joker, then you would know the weird way he came back, and I think this ties into it. Haven't played too much of it besides what I'm showing here because I've never actually played it before, like, ever up to this point. So it seems fun. Can't wait to try it out and fully play it and see what it's all about. So yeah. Biofreaks. I had no idea what this game is at all. In fact, this is the only time I played it was during this footage here. Turns out it's like a 3D Mortal Kombat-ish clone, but it's not really fighting. It's just, from what I can tell, firing projectiles at your enemy with shield stuff, and, like, I don't know. It's pretty interesting, but I don't know how much fun I'm going to have with it playing until I actually, you know, sit down and can actually play it for longer than I did with this, with a good controller. The iconic DK64, and it's almost so equally iconic yellow cartridge here. So this is actually one of the games that I originally played growing up with the one that I mentioned, the N64 that I mentioned before. Although weirdly, I remember it being a gray cartridge. I remember it being yellow. I don't know what the difference is. But anyway, yeah, basically the sister game to Mario 64 in terms of bringing a 2D character to a 3D environment. Controls a little wonky, but it's got that awesome DK rap intro soundtrack. And yeah, it gave Donkey Kong characters jungle-themed guns, which can't go wrong there, right? Excite Bike 64. So I've never actually played this one at all. The only Excite Bikes I played was the one on the Nintendo, and Excite Bots and Excite Trucks on the Wii, which are basically like spiritual successors to the Excite Bike series. This plays very similarly, from what I could tell, like most of the motocross style games that came out, like the PS2, Saturn, and N64 here, but without all the name brands like, or the big names like Ricky Carmichael. This is basically just generic, you know, in-game game names, I guess. Seems fun though, from what I could play with it anyway. The iconic GoldenEye 007. I remember playing this a little bit with my cousins growing up. and it was a blast back then. And popping it in with that first intro level, it brought back so many memories. Too bad this controller just is not working correctly for it, because as you can probably tell from the footage, I could aim worth crap trying to play this game. So I really want to sit down and play with one of these two known good working controllers and really get back into it, especially because the multiplayer of this is one of the ones that are still to this day talked about being a standard setting, you know, for basically battle royale games. Jet Force Gemini. I know this is one of the most iconic N64 games. I've never actually played it until, well, at least the N64 version here pretty recently when I was making this video. I have played it on the Xbox One's Rare Replay, which it was really fun on that. So, you know, I wouldn't mind picking this up and playing it on the N64 like I just showed. But unfortunately, this thing has a unskippable, like 3-minute long intro, which, yeah, basically, it's the most annoying thing about games when you can't skip an intro. I get this for lore, I get it for background stuff, but make it so you can skip it, please. Knockout Kings 2000, a pretty interesting, a pretty fun boxing game from what I can tell, but I really couldn't do much, you know, more than just a couple standard punches when I was doing it, especially when I was going up against the 323-pound Butterbean. But yeah, it seems pretty fun. I'm just not into sports games, so I don't know if there's any other ways to do different punches, like gut punches or uppercuts or anything like that. It's just only doing 2 main punches, so I don't know. Might have to play with it a little bit more and see if I can get it to do anything else. Mission Impossible. I have never played any of the Mission Impossible games, so this is actually the only one I've actually sat down and played. And the only reason why I actually know about this game is because this is one of the games that the nerd, AVGN, James Rolfe, tore apart in one of his videos. Basically, from what I remember from his video, this has almost nothing to do with the Tom Cruise films. There's some overlap with it, but most of it is based off the original Mission Impossible movies and TV series, which is weird because this came out during the exact same time as the first Tom Cruise film. So who knows? And for what the little bit I played of it for this video, it seemed okay, but yeah, the controls are really off and wonky, especially with aiming. I didn't get to play too much of it because, again, this controller acted up, but seems like something I might want to sit down and play. Namco Museum. Now, I have not played this version except for this video, but I have played other versions of Namco Museum because every console had a port of this at some point, it seemed. Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, Super Nintendo, I think Genesis did, PS1 did, PS2. Yeah, I've played almost every version of Namco Museum, and all the games around here are in other compilations too. Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man, Galaga, Galaxian, Dig Dug. Played them all. I will say though that even with this not working controller, Galaga played pretty well with the analog joystick, unlike the PS1 version, which is really too sensitive. I will admit though, I am more used to when I actually hit the button, it shoots faster, like in the arcade. So, you know, it was fun, but yeah, I've played it before, and it's really nothing special. The OG Quake for N64. I did not know that this was a N64 port. I knew the PC game, and I think I remember it being on PS1, but I did not know it made it to the N64. I will say the graphics are really chunky, but again, even with this crappy controller, it seemed to play just fine. I was able to hit some enemies with it, so, you know, pretty fun game. I mean, it's Quake. You almost can't go wrong with Quake. Rush 2 Extreme Racing USA. So I have actually never played a console version of any of the Rush Racing games except for in the arcade, and this actually looks pretty good. I do think that the PS1 had a port of this, and I want to say this looks better in terms of color depth, but I can't really say for certain because I don't think I even have it on PS1 anymore. I will say though that even with, yes, broken record with this controller, I'm complaining about it. I'm going to keep complaining about it. The card controlled really well, so I kind of want to try this with a better controller and see how much better it runs. But this seems like a pretty good, fun racing game. It's very arcadey, but that's the whole nature of the game. Yeah, can't go wrong with a good racing game on any console. Star Fox 64, another iconic game for the N64. This basically was a sequel to the Star Fox game on Super Nintendo, and I think technically also a sequel to Star Fox 2, but Star Fox 2 was never officially released. So technically this was kind of a sequel of sorts to it. I played the tutorial level, seemed controlled really well. I've actually never played this game before, and I've really been wanting to because I've been hearing it's one of the better N64 games. So this is definitely something I need to sit down and play at some point other than what I did for this video. Star Wars Episode 1 Racer, another racing game for the N64, which basically was inspired by the pod race of Star Wars Episode 1, A Phantom Menace. It seemed to handle really good and played really well. It looked really good graphically, and they had some voice samples from what sounds like the actor playing young Anakin Skywalker and whoever else was in the game, I guess. Yeah, another game I need to sit down and play because I love Star Wars games, and even some of these spin-offs can be pretty fun. Is an N64 collection complete without the iconic Mario 64? No, the game that's basically set the standard for 3D gameplay involving anything with the N64? Yeah, of course I had to have this game. This game is a lot of fun. I actually did have this growing up on that console I mentioned before, and it was a lot of fun playing Mario, especially 3D Mario, because I was so used to 2D Mario. I, up until that point, had not played any other Mario besides the 2D one, so to have a 3D one was actually a lot of fun. The controls feel amazing, even on this junk controller, and it's just an all-around great game to play. If you haven't tried Mario 64 yet, this is the iconic game for the N64. Wave Race 64. There's a lot of games that have 64 in the title. It's kind of weird. Anyway, another racing game for the N64, but this time with jet skis, and it is a blast to play, actually. I was actually struggling a little bit trying to get through all the slalom courses of it when I was playing here for this video. And, well, yeah, I mean, I could attribute that to the controller here, but actually the water physics in that are actually really good. You do actually feel like there's some weight to the water pushing the jet ski around, which is actually really impressive for an N64 game. Yeah, I need to play more of this because this is a blast. WCW NWO Revenge. Now, there's no gameplay footage of this that I have because this cartridge did not want to start. This is the only cartridge so far that did not want to start. I might need to take it apart and clean it. You know, I might need to scrub the connecting pins on this. But I have actually played this on another console. I believe it was on the PS1. And again, I'm not into wrestling games, but it was actually really fun. I mean, Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Hulk Hogan. The whole crossover things make stuff a lot of fun, even if they are. Wipeout 64. I did decide to play a little bit of this for not just for the video, but also after I got to recording, I kept playing it because it was so much fun. I love the Wipeout series. I played the original one on PS1, and this one, I will admit, does look better than the PS1 version, in my opinion anyway, at least in terms of color depth. It's much more vibrant. The other one on the PS1 just seemed a lot more dull and dark, but you know, that might just be because of the way the PS1 version was. Again, another racing game, kind of along the lines of F-Zero with the floating hover car racing game, but yeah, it's still a lot of fun. Handy, and I'm noticing something. Some of these cartridges are a lot heavier than the other ones. But anyway, the icon itself is Zelda Ocarina of Time, arguably one of the best Zelda games of all time. I'm not going to get into the argument of that because I know there's a lot of Zelda fans that will nitpick and argue that, but this is one of the most iconic Zelda games. Again, just like with Mario 64 and DK64, they jump into 3D. This is one of those games that really helped sell the Zelda series. And basically since then, except some side shoot stuff and some stuff on portable consoles, most Zelda games since then have been in the 3D environments. So this game actually started an entire trend for Zelda. Not only that, but it's just an amazing game. One of the, amazing soundtrack, amazing RPG elements, boss battles. It had a good learning curve to it. It wasn't too difficult. It's such an amazing game. And unfortunately, I completely forgot to report any gameplay footage of the next games, but that's just because I completely spaced on it. Star Wars Rogue Squadron for N64. This game, yeah, I think I played a different console version of this. I think it's on GameCube. But basically, you fly around in several vehicles from Star Wars universe. TIE Fighters, X-Wings, Y-Wings, A-Wings, the V-Wings, shooting down the Imperial vehicles. Yeah, it's a lot of fun on the PS1 or GameCube when I played it, so really can't wait to test it out on the N64. At least I think it was on the GameCube. There is a Rogue Squadron on GameCube. NASCAR 99. I have played so many NASCAR games on the PS1, PS2. so many different consoles and PC. All these games are basically the same. It's just they change the sponsorships on the cars and the car design, but they're still a lot of fun. They're not really arcadey. They're more on the simulation side because they're more realistic, but they're still a heck of a lot of fun. So we have Mario Party. I believe this is the first one. It does show the dice saying 3, but I believe this is actually the first Mario Party. These games are a heck of a lot of fun. A couple friends over, some food, drinks, and just having a good old time with just screwing around with a digital board game. Yeah, I've been wanting to be down here with my wife and my brother-in-law and just playing the crap out of these games, just having a lot of fun. But unfortunately, a lot of the Mario Party games are some of the more expensive games for a lot of consoles. But regardless of that fact, Mario Party is a heck of a lot of fun, and I really can't wait to at least do some multiplayer gaming with these. This is what the N64 was technically meant for. All 4 controller ports filled, friends, drinks, food, laughing, destroying friendships. It's all good fun. Now, the game is not in here. This is basically an empty box, but I do have the box for Diddy Kong Racing. This is just an empty box my brother-in-law gave me because I thought I had Diddy Kong Racing, but it turns out I don't. So I actually need to try and pick this up so I can put it in this box. That way it's in its box. And speaking of Diddy Kong Racing, the last thing I have for my N64 is the promo VHS for N64 for this game. Yeah, it doesn't really go with the N64 except for the fact that it's the promo VHS for it, but still, it's part of it, so why not? Hey, so that's my N64 collection here. And like I said, it's a very modest collection. I haven't really been hammering too hard on trying to find N64 stuff. I have a lot of fond memories of it, but not as many memories as I do with the GameCube, Nintendo, and the PS1. But I'm still not going to turn away N64 games that I've ever come across them. But I'm not actually trying to buy every N64 game. I just want to get all the games that I used to play growing up. I need to still find Mario Kart and Perfect Dark to basically complete the ones I had back then. And then from there, I can start being a little less selective on N64 games. Oh, and Diddy Kong Racing, but that's another thing. Well, that being said, thank you all so much for watching the video. Really hope you enjoyed taking a look at my pretty small and modest N64 collection here. If you have any thoughts or comments about any of the games I have here and showed, maybe I was completely off on my assessment and they're actually really good games or they're really bad games, put it down in the comments. And who knows, maybe I'll pop it in for a video and just do a full, well, not full gameplay, but play more of it than like the 5 minutes I did for this video. And maybe I can give a better, fair assessment and review then. Who knows? That might be kind of fun. Maybe do it as either a live stream thing or something. I don't know. Might be fun. But yeah, this was just a real short video that I wanted to get done out of the way with a library video because me trying to get any time to do any more recording stuff has just been a complete and utter nightmare lately. So I wanted to get at least some sort of video going so that I can get back into the swing of doing videos weekly. So yeah, again, that being said, thank you all so much for watching this video, and be on the lookout for more library videos and gameplay videos coming out in the future, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.